These 10 jaw-dropping money stats of the average person in 2026 will shock you, but not because they are dramatic, because they are normal. And that is the scary part. We live in the most financially advanced era in human history. You can open a bank account in 5 minutes. You can invest in global companies from your mobile phone. You can start a side business from your bedroom. You can learn finance for free online. Kings did not have this power 200 years ago. And yet, in 2026, the average person feels more financially anxious than ever before. This is not about poverty, this is about pressure. Pressure to earn more. Pressure to spend more. Pressure to look successful. Pressure to upgrade constantly. Now here comes stat number 1. More than 62% of working adults worldwide live paycheck to paycheck in 2026. Let that settle in your mind. That means almost 2 out of every 3 people finish the month with almost nothing left. They are not lazy, they are not irresponsible. Many of them are educated. Many of them earn decent salaries, but their expenses rise as fast as their income. This is called lifestyle inflation. When salary increases, spending increases. New phone, better apartment, bigger EMI, nicer vacations. Income grows, but freedom does not. And here's what makes this more dangerous. Most people do not feel broke, they feel busy, they feel managing. But they are one emergency away from financial chaos. Now think about this. If your salary stopped today, how many months could you survive comfortably? Be honest. Not survive by borrowing, not survive by using credit cards, comfortably. This question alone separates financial confidence from financial illusion. And here comes stat number 2. The average emergency savings globally covers less than 2 months of expenses. 2 months. That means if something unexpected happens, job loss, health issue, family emergency, within 60 days, stress begins. And stress destroys decision-making. When people panic financially, they make bad choices. They take high-interest loans. They sell investments early. They accept underpaid jobs. They sacrifice long-term stability for short-term survival. Now ask yourself something deeper. Why does this happen in the most advanced financial era ever? Because earning money is easy to understand, but managing money is rarely taught. Schools teach algebra, but not budgeting. Colleges teach degrees, but not debt management. Society teaches how to look rich, but not how to build wealth. And that is the silent crisis of 2026. We are financially connected, but emotionally unprepared. We have access to information, but lack discipline. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The system benefits when you spend, not when you save. Every advertisement you see is designed to make you feel incomplete until you buy something. This is not accidental, this is strategic. In 2026, attention is monetized, desire is engineered, and impulse is profitable. But discipline? Discipline is rare, and rare skills create rare results. The average person is not financially stupid, they are financially distracted. Distracted by noise, distracted by comparison, distracted by convenience, and convenience is expensive. This is just the beginning, because the next stat is even more uncomfortable. Now we enter the uncomfortable zone. Debt. Stat number 6. Global household debt has reached record highs in 2026, higher than previous generations, higher than many economic forecasts predicted. And the dangerous part? Most people don't even feel alarmed because debt has become normal. Credit cards are normal. Personal loans are normal. Buy now, pay later is normal. EMIs are normal. We don't call it debt anymore. We call it convenience. Pause. But convenience has a cost. And that cost is usually invisible at the beginning. Let's talk about credit cards. Stat number 7. In many countries, the average credit card interest rate is above 20%. 20%. That means if you carry a balance, you are paying the bank double-digit returns, guaranteed. Imagine investing your money at 8% while your debt grows at 20%. Mathematically, you are moving backwards, but emotionally, it feels manageable because minimum payments are small and small payments feel harmless. This is how long-term traps are built, not with big disasters, but with small, tolerable discomforts. Now think about this. If someone carries $5,000 in credit card debt at 20% interest and only pays minimum payments, they could end up paying thousands in interest alone, money that could have been invested, saved, or used to create opportunities. Instead, it disappears quietly. This is silent financial bleeding. Now let's talk about something modern: buy now, pay later services. They look harmless, no interest, easy installments, just a few clicks. But psychologically, they disconnect pain from purchase. Earlier, when you paid cash, you felt the expense immediately. Now, you feel it months later, and by that time, you have already bought something else. Stacked payments, layered commitments, multiple small obligations, each one manageable. Together, heavy. Now here's something deeper. Debt changes behavior. When you owe money, your risk tolerance changes, your confidence changes, your sleep changes. You may not talk about it publicly, but privately, it weighs on you. Financial stress is one of the top causes of anxiety worldwide, not because of poverty, but because of pressure. Pressure to maintain payments, pressure to maintain image, pressure to maintain lifestyle. And lifestyle debt is the most dangerous type because it funds things that do not generate income: a car that loses value, gadgets that become outdated, clothes that go out of trend, experiences that last a weekend, but payments last years. Now ask yourself something honestly. How many of your current expenses are truly necessary, and how many are social expectations? Modern society sells aspiration, but rarely explains amortization. We see success stories, but we do not see their balance sheets. We see houses, but not mortgages. We see cars, but not loan tenures. We see travel, but not credit statements. This creates illusion-driven spending, and illusion-driven spending creates long-term debt cycles. Now here's the critical shift. Debt is not always bad. Business debt can build assets. Educational debt can increase earning power. Strategic leverage can accelerate growth. But consumer debt for lifestyle upgrades? That rarely builds wealth. It builds temporary satisfaction and long-term obligation. In 2026, debt is easier to access than ever before. Approval in minutes, digital signatures, instant transfers. But wealth still requires patience, still requires restraint, still requires delayed gratification. The average person is not drowning because they earn too little. They are drowning because small debts accumulate silently. And silence is dangerous because what you do not measure, you cannot control. In the next part, we move to something even more powerful: income versus inflation. Because even if you avoid debt, if your income does not grow faster than your expenses, you are still standing still. Now let's talk about something most people feel but cannot clearly explain: inflation. Stat number 8. In many countries, wages have not kept up with inflation over the past 5 years. Prices increased, rent increased, food prices increased, fuel increased, education increased, healthcare increased, but income? Not at the same speed. And this creates something dangerous. It creates the illusion of stability, while purchasing power quietly declines. You may be earning more than you did 5 years ago, but can you buy significantly more? Or does it feel tighter? That tight feeling is the silent squeeze of inflation. Now, understand this carefully. If inflation averages 5 to 7% and your income grows only 3%, you are technically losing ground every single year. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but slowly. And slow loss is the most dangerous kind because you adjust to it, You normalize it. You blame yourself for it, instead of recognizing the system effect. Now let's go deeper. Stat number 9. In major cities around the world, housing consumes between 30 to 50% of average income. Half, just for shelter, before groceries, before savings, before investments, before travel, before freedom. Housing used to be a milestone. Now it is a burden for many. Rent keeps rising, home prices keep rising, interest rates fluctuate, and younger generations are entering markets that are far more expensive than what their parents faced. This creates generational pressure. Older generations say just work hard. Younger generations say we are working hard, but the starting line has moved. Now think about this logically. If 50% of income goes to housing and another 20 to 30% goes to necessities, what is left? Maybe 20%. And from that 20%, you're expected to save, invest, build wealth, plan retirement, handle emergencies, and enjoy life. This is why many middle-class families feel squeezed. They're not financially irresponsible. They are financially compressed between rising costs and limited income growth. Now let's add another layer. Lifestyle expectations have also increased. 2 decades ago, a basic phone was normal. Now, high-speed internet is essential. Earlier, one subscription was luxury. Now, multiple digital services are common. Earlier, dining out was occasional. Now, it is routine. Modern life has more convenience, but convenience adds cost, and small costs multiplied by 12 months become heavy. This is the trap of normalized spending. Everything feels necessary, everything feels standard, and slowly the margin disappears. Now here's something important. When income growth is slow, the solution is not only cutting expenses. At some point, you must increase earning capacity, because there is a limit to how much you can reduce, but there is no strict limit to how much you can grow. Skills matter more in 2026 than ever before. Digital skills, financial literacy, communication, problem solving, adaptability. The job market is changing. Automation is rising. AI is expanding. Companies reward value creation, not just attendance. If your income is fixed, but your expenses are dynamic, you will always feel pressure. So the real question becomes, are you building skills that increase your value, or are you relying only on annual increments? Because annual increments rarely beat inflation significantly. Now pause for a moment. Imagine 2 people. Both earn the same income today. One invests in learning new skills. The other stays comfortable. 5 years later, their financial realities look very different. Inflation punishes stagnation, but rewards growth. And that is the hidden lesson of this era. The average person in 2026 is not failing. They are adjusting to a faster, more expensive world. But adjustment is not enough. Strategy is required. In the next part, we talk about something that separates stable people from struggling ones: investing. Because earning is step 1, saving is step 2, but investing is where wealth actually begins. Now we arrive at the real separator. Not income, not job title, not background, but investing behavior. Stat number 10. More than 50% of adults in 2026 do not invest in long-term assets. No stocks, no index funds, no retirement accounts, no long-term wealth strategy. Their money sits in savings accounts, doing almost nothing, and slowly, inflation eats its value. Silently, year after year. Now understand something very important. Saving protects you. Investing grows you. If you only save, you survive. If you invest wisely, you build. And building changes everything. Let's imagine 2 people. Both save $500 per month. Person A keeps it in a low-interest savings account. Person B invests it consistently in diversified long-term assets. 10 years later, the difference is massive. Not because person B was smarter, not because person B was lucky. Because of compounding. Compounding is simple. Money earns returns. Those returns earn returns. And over time, growth accelerates. But here's the problem. Compounding rewards patience, and modern culture rewards speed. People want fast gains, quick flips, viral success, overnight wealth. But real wealth is boring. It grows quietly. It takes years, and most people quit before the magic happens. Now let's talk psychology again. Why don't people invest? Fear. Fear of losing money. Fear of market crashes. Fear of not understanding charts. Fear of making mistakes. So they delay. I'll start when I earn more. I'll start when I learn more. I'll start next year. But next year becomes 5 years, and 5 years becomes regret. Now, here's something most people don't calculate. Time in the market is more powerful than timing the market. Starting early matters more than starting perfectly. Even small amounts invested consistently can outperform large amounts invested occasionally. Consistency beats intensity. Now, think about this. If someone invests 15% of their income every month for 20 years, their financial stress at age 50 looks very different from someone who never invested. Investing is not about becoming rich tomorrow. It is about reducing fear in the future. It is about creating options. Options to retire earlier. Options to reduce workload. Options to say no. Now, let's connect this with earlier stats. If inflation reduces purchasing power, and debt drains income, and housing consumes half your salary, then investing becomes necessary, not optional. Because without growth, you are running in place. And running in place for decades is exhausting. Now, here is another truth. The wealth gap in 2026 is not just between rich and poor, it is between investors and non-investors. Because investors own assets. Assets produce income. Income buys freedom. Non-investors rely only on active income, and active income stops when you stop working. That is the structural difference. You do not need to be a market expert. You do not need to trade daily. You need discipline. You need a plan. You need automation. And you need patience. Wealth is not built by excitement. It is built by repetition, monthly, quarterly, yearly, for a long time. And here's the uncomfortable reality. Most people spend more time choosing a phone than choosing an investment strategy. They research gadgets for weeks, but delay financial planning for years. That is not lack of intelligence. That is misaligned priority. In 2026, information is free. Investment apps are accessible. Barriers are lower than ever. The only remaining barrier is behavior. In the next part, we talk about something influencing behavior every single day: social media. Because comparison may be the most expensive habit of this generation. Now, we talk about something that quietly shapes financial decisions every single day: social media. Stat number 11. Social media exposure has been linked to significantly higher lifestyle spending among young adults. Because comparison is constant. You scroll, you see vacations, you see luxury cars, you see designer brands, you see success stories, and slowly, without realizing it, your standards shift. What once felt enough now feels small. And here's the dangerous part. You are not comparing your real life to someone's real life. You are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And highlight reels are curated, filtered, selected, sometimes financed, sometimes borrowed, sometimes sponsored. But your brain does not process that. Your brain processes status, and status pressure leads to spending. Now imagine this cycle. You feel behind, so you upgrade your phone, you upgrade your wardrobe, you upgrade your lifestyle, you finance the difference. For a few days, you feel ahead. Then the feed refreshes and someone else posts something bigger, and the cycle repeats. This is the comparison economy, and it is expensive. Now think deeper. If your spending increases by even 10 to 15% annually due to social pressure, over 10 years, that is a massive amount of lost wealth. Money that could have been invested, money that could have built security, money that could have reduced stress. Instead, it funds temporary validation. Now here is the real wake-up call. Stat number 12. People who track their expenses and invest consistently are significantly more likely to reach financial independence before traditional retirement age. Not because they earn millions, not because they are extraordinary, because they are intentional. Intentional with spending, intentional with saving, intentional with investing. The average person in 2026 is not doomed. They are distracted. Distracted by noise, distracted by urgency, distracted by comparison. But distraction is not destiny. You can choose differently. You can choose clarity over comparison. You can choose discipline over impulse. You can choose long-term peace over short-term applause. Now pause for a moment. Imagine your life 5 years from now if you continue exactly as you are. Same habits, same spending patterns, same financial awareness. Where does that path lead? Now imagine a small shift, tracking expenses, eliminating high-interest debt, building a 6-month emergency fund, investing 15% consistently, improving skills every year. The difference between those two futures is not luck, it is decision. Money is not about looking rich, it is about being stable. It is about sleeping peacefully at night. It is about not panicking when emergencies happen. It is about having options. In 2026, the tools exist, the information exists, the access exists. The only question is behavior. The average person may remain financially stressed, but you do not have to be average. Start small, start imperfectly, but start. Because 5 years from now, you will either thank yourself or wish you had begun earlier, and that choice is being made today. If this opened your eyes, subscribe, because financial awareness is not optional anymore. It is survival.